Hello everyone, friends. Thank you for visiting Bitcoin Adept. Today we will talk about the price of Bitcoin and an important incident that happened yesterday with the Bybit exchange. 400,000 ethers were stolen from their wallets. I will say right away that they resolved the situation quickly, instantly. It did not affect the operation of the exchange at all. And for this, honestly speaking, they earn a few stars from me, you could say, in their piggy bank. Because there are many different projects, including exchanges that at some point plan to leave the market, scam, or somehow exit. And if in such a project, which planned to leave in a year or two, such a huge amount of assets were stolen, 400,000 ethers with an estimated damage of approximately $1.5 billion, most projects would have suspended withdrawals. That is, they would have frozen all funds to prevent panic. And what does it mean to freeze withdrawals? To freeze means, on the contrary, panic, everything will intensify. In the chats, everyone will be shouting, how can this be? I can't withdraw my funds. Everyone else will be trying to withdraw. In short, it's all like a huge snowball accumulating. And then, eventually, even if people can withdraw all their funds, the bad feeling will linger strongly. And the projects that plan to leave the market even in a year or two or after some time, they will never open the withdrawal of funds. That is, they will freeze them. Yes, this is for your future reference. If you are participating somewhere or trading there on some small exchanges, if they plan to freeze funds at some point or there are problems with withdrawal, know that this is a very strong signal, even a bell, I would say. But Bybit sorted everything out promptly, replenished these missing funds again. Of course, now they will figure out where the ether went and how to find it. But guys, no one froze withdrawals, and that's very important. And this means that when Bybit added more money to their exchange, it indicates that they want to work in the long term. And if they wanted to scam in the near future, they would simply close external transfers, meaning withdrawals, and instead open deposits under some kind of bonuses. But everything, guys, is working as usual. I specifically checked yesterday, testing the withdrawal of funds from the exchange. In short, the exchange demonstrated with this move that even with such losses, it doesn't intend to go anywhere. Although another question is, how can you withdraw like this? 400,000 ether from the exchange, from such an exchange that spends, I think, huge amounts of money on programmers and security systems. And if it was possible to withdraw from there, then what can be said about other exchanges, about some of our other wallets where funds are stored? There's something to ponder here, guys. So, now let's move on to Bitcoin. This is the 3-day chart for Bitcoin. And in general, nothing particularly significant is happening. Bitcoin decreased slightly against the backdrop of this news. Moreover, I don't even think that this news affected Bitcoin in any way. These movements occur plus or minus $2,000 almost, every 2 days. And if we look at it globally, we are just currently seeing a bullish flag being worked out. Just like flags have been worked out before. Guys, what does a bullish flag mean? Look, if we delve into the theoretical part, we will find that there is such a pattern, a flag in an uptrend. And there is one in a downtrend, but our situation is different. We have a bull market. We have an upward impulse movement, followed by a correction like this, here in the sideways movement. And after the breakout upwards, very often a retest occurs at this point. And this point can be calculated, you see, this letter H is the height of this movement, which can be captured. And the height is measured, taken, this movement from the bottom to the beginning of the future support level, which is formed later. That is, approximately at this point, or this one, or here, we can already see that the support has formed. A certain height is also already known to us, and we simply take this value and move it higher. That is, when we break through the upper resistance zone, we can potentially capture such a movement. Look at our chart. This is how it appears. First of all, let me show you that all these flags have been working out. That is, we take the previous flag, look from the lowest point to the support level, move it up, and we almost reach the upper zone at 104. $4,000. Of course, there will be some inaccuracies, but guys, if we take these as benchmarks, it's quite good, and you can track all of this. We also adjust this value, and you see where we reach the maximum values. We're at that moment to the local ones, where Bitcoin came, that is, to the formation of the next flag, and so on and so forth. Yes, here we squeezed quite low, went down, stretching from below to this support zone. We also adjust and end up here. Unfortunately, not to the upper value of the flag, but the reference is very good. We hit right in the middle. And even if we take this initial movement from bottom to top, we measure, adjust this value and reach the upper one, to the upper part of the resistance level. And why am I showing and telling you all this? Firstly, because there is such a pattern in technical analysis called a bullish flag. Secondly, it is calculated in this way as described in the theoretical part. Thirdly, this pattern works out and the calculation also proves to be effective. That's thirdly or fourthly, I'm already confused. And lastly, is that you can calculate this flag of ours that is currently forming. That is exactly from the lower values. Here too, guys, it's important to correctly identify the lower values from which the calculation is made. Let's zoom in on all this so I can more accurately find the point from which to calculate. You see, here's the last movement of the red candle. Let's use it as the basis for our calculation. From the bottom to this support level, that is, we take it, move it all up, and directly hit the Bitcoin unloading zone. Yes, this red zone is on my signal indicator. The Bitcoin unloading zone, where it was in every cycle, and here exactly. Also, this is the level of $190,000, again, plus or minus $10,000. You shouldn't perceive this segment as some magical value, a number that Bitcoin must reach. But in technical analysis, guys, this is a very important tool, one that has performed quite well. And now let's add another signal indicator. It highlights certain stages of the bullish and bearish cycle for us. And look, if we minimize all this, we have several colors. You could say it's like a graph, yes, like in children's drawings, meaning when we reach the maximum value, it's this. Our graph is colored in such a green color, after which it transitions to a blue color. This is already a move into the bear market. You can see it here, yes, well, and blue is such a color of global freeze. Until the crypto winter, in short, these are the values and accumulation zones when many shout, oh, how bad the market is, guys. These are the most wonderful times. For example, for me, this is the time when you can buy the goods cheaply, which you will then sell at a high price. That is, this lower value is a good time, and this maximum value as well, when you know what to do. In short, the chart is colored with these colors. And as you understand, the color is important to us. That color. Right now we are in the red color. Previously, the red color indicated to us that we were already approaching maximum values. Our last cycle consisted of 2 peaks, and it is quite likely that our cycle will end with 1 peak because these peaks alternate. You see 2 peaks, 1 peak. Here, 2 peaks. Before that, there was 1 peak. I assume that in this case, we are expecting 1 peak. That is, if we refer to the cycle before last, there was 1 peak here, right, and we need to keep an eye on it. On this green zone, where we can potentially arrive, currently we are in the red zone. And guys, if you look at this part of the chart, specifically from the beginning of the red zone to the point of correction, let's consider an approximate average zone. Let's define this as 150 days. This is when Bitcoin went into a correction, kept going lower and lower, and then started to rise further. So here we had another correction, which happened both later and earlier. In short, these 150 days, if we apply them to our values, we will see that we are exactly on them. Now, I had already estimated in advance where we are now. Exactly. These 150 days remain precisely on the red, this particular zone. Let's see how much time is left until the end of this red zone. This entire zone is 195 days. So there are 45 days left until we transition into the main green part of the bullish cycle, which is already growing. Well, very much so. So now we have this red part formed. It's a 50 days, 45 more days are allocated for the formation of this entire red part. Yes, guys, let me estimate 195 days. It's approximately, here it ends on April 10th, give or take. Of course, there will be some margin of error, and from these values it might start. This green zone, where Bitcoin grows very quickly and strongly and reaches its maximum values, doesn't necessarily mean there will be this fluctuation until April. I'm just telling you that the closer we get to the end of this red zone, the stronger it will be. Then there will be movements. So this means that the color will simply change to green, and we might see a stronger growth. Moreover, this might even coincide with the month of April, with this upward movement that we have been anticipating. This is regarding the global situation. Now let's look at more local values for Bitcoin. Let's take a look. Not exactly local. Let's start with the 12-hour chart. You can see that the movements in Bitcoin haven't changed much. It's moving like a saw. Yesterday, there was this red candle. Now many will say it's because there was a theft. 400,000 ethers. But guys, what about what happened before this? Was there also a theft of ether from the exchange? No, I think this didn't affect Bitcoin or ether at all. But very often after some downward movement, a certain news story starts to emerge, or after an upward movement. They always say it happened because of this or that, but guys, we see cycles in Bitcoin that have been going on for more than a year, for 15 years. And they show a 4-year correlation, which means it leads Bitcoin upwards. Then they lead it down to certain levels, then up again, then down again. But they always say it happened because of this or that or something else. But guys, these are pure manipulations. I believe that Bitcoin is simply being cycled to make profits, and then they chase liquidity. Now it's up and down, guys. Let's activate my signal indicators and see what signals they are giving at the moment. This is the Ichimoku Cloud Adept indicator on the 12-hour chart, and it shows that a further decline is possible, but this is on the 12-hour time frame. Let's click on a minute to start, more local and medium-term values, which also show a strong signal downwards. We might go lower again. Let's switch back to the 12-hour and activate it. Another one of my signal indicators, let's look at Bitcoin Adept buy and sell. Here, we had a sell signal yesterday, but currently we have no signal. Well, let's take a look at the 1-hour chart. Although I try not to review such short-term signals, because by the time you watch the video, these signals might already be far behind. There was a buy signal, and that was 6 hours ago. Currently, there are no signals. So right here on this recovery, there was the last signal, and as usual guys, I strongly recommend you to install my signal indicators. There are about 8 of them and it's completely free. The video description explains how to do all this, even on the free version of this TradingView program, whether on your phone or computer, and you can analyze the market yourself. But if you're too lazy to analyze the market yourself, then join our trading chats, where people, participants and traders share their trades made on the exchange. Thank you to everyone who watched this video, and by all,